Are the foods that you are eating every single day silently fueling the fire of your arthritis pain? Today, we are not just giving you another long list of foods to avoid. We are giving you the complete blueprint for fighting back with 5 simple and very powerful anti-inflammatory smart swaps. Welcome back to Healthier Daily, the channel where we give you the simple, science-backed truths to live a stronger and more independent life after 60. I'm your host, Dr. Ben Carter. And to be our guide in this very important battle against inflammation, we are joined by a physician who has spent his life teaching the profound wisdom of using our food to either cause or to calm disease. It is our great honor to welcome Dr. Shigeaki Hinohara.
Thank you for having me, Ben. The metaphor of a fire is the perfect way for people to understand joint pain. For so many people who are suffering, their body is in a constant state of chronic inflammation. This is like a low-level fire that is always burning at the background. And the foods that we choose to eat can either act as the fuel for that fire, making it stronger and much more painful, or they can act as the gentle water that helps to calm it down.
That is a brilliant way to explain it. And for our viewers at home, when we talk about this fire, scientists can actually measure its intensity in your blood. They look for specific markers, with the most common one being C-reactive protein, or CRP. When your CRP levels are high, it is a very clear sign that this silent fire of chronic inflammation is burning inside your body. And the food choices that we make every single day have a direct and a very powerful impact on this important number. And that is exactly what our guide is all about today. To make this very simple and very actionable for you at home, for each of the 5 most common inflammatory food groups that seniors eat, Dr. Hinohara will explain the problem. I will add the simple science, and then he will immediately reveal a safe, a delicious, and a healing swap that you can make instead. It is a true blessing to have this kind of knowledge, to be able to make the simple choices that bring peace and calm back into our bodies. If you are ready to learn how to put out the fire of your joint pain, please type the number 1 in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe to our channel. It's completely free, and this is a very hopeful and empowering conversation. Okay, doctor, let's get right into our anti-inflammatory smart swaps. This is where we learn how to put out that fire of joint pain. Where do we begin? What is the first and the most common source of food-based inflammation that our viewers should be aware of?
We will begin with the most obvious, but also the most difficult for many people in America to change. Our first smart swap is to move away from fried and fast foods. This includes all of the common culprits like French fries, potato chips, fried chicken, and also other processed snacks like microwave popcorn. I had a patient, a gentleman, who loved his weekly tradition of getting a large bucket of fried chicken. He told me that it was his favorite meal of the week. But he also told me that for 2 or 3 days after his treat meal, the pain and the swelling in his knees would be terrible. He was directly and powerfully feeding the fire of his arthritis with every single bite.
That is a perfect example of a direct food trigger, and the science of this explains exactly why it was happening to him. When you cook foods at a very high heat in those unhealthy refined vegetable oils that are used at fast food restaurants, 2 very bad things happen to your body. First, as we have discussed in our video on healthy fats, those unstable oils become oxidized, and this creates a huge number of damaging free radicals that cause stress and damage throughout your entire body. And second, this high heat cooking process creates very toxic and inflammatory compounds that are called advanced glycation end products, or AGEs. These AGEs are like little inflammatory bombs that travel through your bloodstream and directly increase the pain, the swelling, and the stiffness in your joints. So, doctor, what is the healing swap for this? How can a person still enjoy their food in a way that heals their body instead of harming it?
The smart and the healing swap is to change your cooking method. Instead of frying your food in a deep fryer, you should choose gentle and healthy cooking methods like baking, roasting, or steaming. And you should always use a healthy, stable, and naturally anti-inflammatory oil, like a good extra virgin olive oil. A piece of chicken that has been gently baked with herbs and olive oil is a delicious and a very healing meal.
So we must swap our cooking method from frying to baking. That is a very powerful first change. What is our second smart swap for today, doctor?
Our second swap is to move away from refined sugars, and this is especially important when those sugars are in our drinks, like in our sodas and in our industrialized fruit juices. I had another patient, a woman who had a daily habit of drinking 2 cans of soda every single day. She suffered from a great deal of morning stiffness and general body aches. The constant daily flood of sugar was keeping her body in a permanent and a painful state of inflammation.
And the science of sugar and inflammation is so very clear. When you consume a large amount of refined sugar, especially when it is in a liquid form like a soda, it causes a massive and a very rapid spike in your blood sugar. And your body responds to this sudden sugar surge by releasing a flood of inflammatory signaling molecules that are called cytokines. These are the very same molecules that your body's immune system uses to be able to create the pain and the swelling of an arthritis flare-up. So with every sip of that soda, you are literally telling your body to create more pain. So what is the healing swap for the person who enjoys a sweet drink?
The healing swap is to choose natural sweeteners and, very importantly, to use them in moderation. My patient, the woman who loved her soda, she switched her daily habit to a simple, warm herbal tea. She would use a ginger tea, which is naturally anti-inflammatory. And if she needed just a little bit of sweetness, she would add a very small spoonful of a high-quality raw honey. Or she would add a few fresh or frozen berries to her water to give it a natural and a gentle sweetness.
That is a beautiful and a very wise swap. It is about choosing the blessed and the gentle sweetness from nature instead of the harsh and the inflammatory sweetness that is made in a factory. So our first 2 smart swaps are very powerful for putting out the fire of inflammation. We are swapping our cooking methods from frying to gentle baking, and we are swapping our sugary drinks for natural, gentle sweeteners. Doctor, let's now move to the main components that are on our plate. Let's talk about our carbohydrates and our proteins. What is smart swap number 3?
Our third smart swap is very similar to our swap for sugar. It is the common mistake of eating a diet that is high in refined white flour. This is the type of flour that is found in most of our common white breads, our pastas, our crackers, and our cookies.
And the science here is exactly the same as it is for the refined sugar that we find in soda. Your body digests this refined white flour extremely quickly. It has been stripped of all of its natural protective fiber during the industrial processing. So it hits your bloodstream and it acts just like pure sugar, causing a large and a very inflammatory insulin spike. For a person who is already dealing with the pain of arthritis, a simple sandwich that is made on white bread can be a direct trigger for more pain and for more stiffness in their body.
So what is the healing swap for our carbohydrates, doctor?
The healing swap is to choose the beautiful, complex, and fiber-rich whole grains. These are wonderful foods like quinoa, traditional old-fashioned oatmeal, and brown rice. The wonderful fiber that is in these whole grains acts as a brake on your digestion. It helps to slow everything down and to prevent those big inflammatory blood sugar spikes. These foods provide your body with a gentle and a very sustained source of clean energy without causing that fire of inflammation.
So we must swap the fast white carbs for the slow whole carbs. That is a very wise choice. What is our fourth smart swap, doctor? This one is about our very important choice of protein.
Yes, our fourth important swap is to move away from a high and a frequent intake of red and processed meats. This includes foods like steaks and hamburgers, and especially the processed meats like bacon sausages and deli meats. I had a patient, a gentleman who was a wonderful cook and who loved his traditional American breakfast. But every single morning, he would have either bacon or sausage with his eggs. He told me that his morning joint stiffness was so severe that it would often take him over an hour to be able to move freely and comfortably. His daily breakfast was setting the stage for a day of pain.
And his body was giving him a very clear and a very direct signal. A diet that is very high in these specific foods can be very inflammatory for three main reasons. First, as the source text notes, they are often very high in saturated fats, which for many people can be pro-inflammatory. Second, the hemi-iron that is found in red meat can in excess act as a pro-oxidant, which contributes to oxidative stress in the body. And third, the nitrates and the other chemical preservatives that are used in processed meats like bacon and sausage are known to be very powerful inflammatory triggers.
So it is a triple threat of inflammation. So doctor, what is the healing swap? What is a healthy and an anti-inflammatory source of protein that our viewers can choose instead?
The perfect and the most healing swap is to replace the red and the processed meats with the wonderful omega-3 rich fish like wild salmon and sardines. As we know, the omega-3 fats, DHA, and EPA are the most powerful natural anti-inflammatory fats that we can possibly eat. So with this swap, you are literally swapping a food that causes inflammation for a food that actively fights inflammation. You are giving your body a powerful tool to be able to put out the fire. It is a truly blessed and an intelligent choice. This is such a powerful and a very practical roadmap, doctor. We love sharing it with our global community. To help us see our global community, please let us know what city, state, or country you are watching from. We love hearing from all of you.
So our third and our fourth smart swaps are very powerful for the main part of our plate. We are swapping the inflammatory white flour for the beautiful, slow-digesting whole grains, and we are swapping the inflammatory red and processed meats for the powerfully anti-inflammatory omega-3 rich fish. That covers the main parts of the meal. Doctor, let's now talk about our fifth and final smart swap. This one covers the dairy products and the cooking oils that we use, which can often be very hidden sources of inflammation.
Yes, our final swap for today has two important parts. The first part of the problem is to be very mindful of full-fat dairy products, such as whole milk cheese and some yogurts.
And this is a very individual thing, but for many people, especially as they get older, the main protein that is in dairy, which is a protein called casein, can be very difficult to digest, and it can provoke a response from the immune system. For a sensitive person, this can lead to an increase in inflammation, which can make their joint pain and their stiffness feel much worse.
And the second part of this problem is the daily use of the common refined vegetable oils, such as soybean oil, corn oil, and canola oil.
And this goes back to our important discussion about the balance of our healthy fats. These common and very inexpensive seed oils are extremely high in the pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids. When these oils are the primary oil that you are using for all of your cooking and in your salad dressings, they are constantly fueling that silent fire of inflammation that is burning inside your body.
So it is a double problem in this category: the potential inflammation from the casein in the dairy and the definite inflammation from the high omega-6s that are in the common oils. So, doctor, what is the healing swap for this final category?
The smart and the healing swap is also in two parts. First, if you feel that dairy is a problem for you, you can very easily swap the full-fat milk and the cheese for the wonderful plant-based milks and yogurts like an unsweetened almond milk or a creamy coconut milk. And second, you must swap out those inflammatory refined vegetable oils for the beautiful and powerfully anti-inflammatory oils like a high-quality extra virgin olive oil and avocado oil. The olive oil is wonderful for your salads and for gentle cooking, and the avocado oil is a very stable and a very healthy choice for cooking at a higher heat. This one simple swap, just changing your cooking oil, can make a massive and a very positive difference in your daily level of pain. Now, doctor, to complete our list, there is one final item from the source text that we absolutely must discuss. It is not a food, but it is a drink that can be a major source of inflammation for many people. Let's talk about excessive alcohol.
Yes, it is very important that we are mindful of this. While a very small amount of a high-quality red wine, for example, may have some antioxidant benefits, an excessive intake of alcohol is very, very harmful for a person who is suffering from arthritis.
That is absolutely right. Alcohol puts a very heavy strain and a very heavy burden on your liver. And your liver is one of your main organs for managing inflammation and for filtering all of the toxins out of your body. When the liver is burdened by having to process alcohol, it cannot do its other important jobs properly. And this can lead to more inflammation throughout your entire system. It also dehydrates your body, which, as we know, can make your joints feel even more stiff and painful.
So the wise and the smart choice is to limit your alcohol intake as much as possible, or to avoid it completely, and to instead focus on drinking plenty of clean water and a variety of anti-inflammatory herbal teas, like a good ginger tea or a green tea.
It is another blessed reminder to be gentle with our bodies and to always choose the things that bring us calm and healing, not more stress and more inflammation. Doctor, this has been an incredible and a very empowering guide. You have given our viewers 5 simple, clear, and powerful smart swaps to help them fight back against the fire of chronic joint pain. We have learned how to swap our cooking methods, our sugary drinks, our refined carbohydrates, our inflammatory proteins, and even our dairy and our cooking oils. This is a complete and a very practical framework for improving senior health. By making these simple daily swaps, our viewers can take a direct and a very real step toward reducing their chronic joint pain. This knowledge is a true cornerstone of a proactive senior health strategy, one that puts the power of healing right back on to our own plates. It is a practical and a very gentle way to fight back against the daily discomfort of joint pain and to live a more vibrant and an active life.
I want to leave you with this one final thought. You cannot heal a body that you are actively inflaming every single day. The path to finding less pain always begins by removing the fuel for the fire. These simple swaps that we have shared with you today are how you do that, one simple meal at a time.
That is a beautiful and a very powerful message, Doctor. To remove the fuel for the fire. It's a wonderful reminder to be good stewards of our health by making conscious and blessed choices about the foods that we use to build our bodies every single day. And of course, it is absolutely essential that you speak with your personal doctor or a registered dietitian before making any significant changes to your diet, especially if you have any existing health conditions. Please remember that our conversation today is for educational purposes and is not a substitute for the direct medical advice from your own trusted physician. If you found this guide empowering and it gave you a clear and a hopeful roadmap to fight back against inflammation, please give this video a like so that others can find this vital information. And be sure to share it with a friend or a family member who you know might be struggling with joint pain. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. It is completely free and it ensures you will not miss our next practical health guide. And for our community discussion today, we would love to know, what is the one smart swap that you're going to make in your own kitchen this week? Please share your first step in the comments below. Your story can be the inspiration that someone else needs to see today. Thank you for being with us. Be well.